Welcome back to the Gavel. On December 19, President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2019 budget to a joint session of the National Assembly. He laid out a budget estimate of 8.83 trillion naira based on an oil benchmark price of $69 per barrel, production capacity of 2.3 million barrels per day, an exchange rate of 305 naira per dollar, among other indices. It was a remarkable budget presentation exercise because, for the first time, the Nigerian president was heckled by lawmakers in the National Assembly. Now, although the boos and hails from lawmakers of opposing parties during his budget presentation dominated headlines, my guest for today, the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Mr. Jerry Chukwueke, wants the focus to be on the details of the budget and the impact on the lives of Nigerians.
Quite frankly, I don't like dramas when we have to focus on very serious issues. The truth of the matter is that the budget as presented offered nothing new. It's actually quite dishonest because Nigerians don't have the opportunity to see the true picture of what's happening now and where we're going shortly. And I think we can all do better as Nigerians because the future is ours together. And being the vice presidential candidate for the All Progressives Grand Alliance, we believe that Nigerians must start to believe in ourselves again.
I'm very specific about
it's important.
Drama. We're looking at how it was perceived. You know, at some point, the president had to say that lawmakers should comport themselves because the world is watching.
Yes.
But beyond that, some of the conversations I've heard have been in twofold. Some persons have said it's nice to see federal legislative body, National Assembly, that isn't afraid to confront the president. And it's also, some others have said, it's nice to see a president who isn't intimidated by lawmakers. How does this play out?
Well, this is election season, so it's not terribly surprising. But I think what you saw in the both sides of the aisle, meaning the executive and the legislature, particularly as the budget was presented, was indeed perhaps this dishonesty that I'm talking about. In the budget, let me give you a couple of instances. The 2019 budget, it's predicated on several planks. One, production of crude at about 2.3 million barrels a day, and oil at about $60 per barrel. That's one. Right there, we're in trouble because they know, even as they presented, that the oil price, crude oil price for 2009 is probably going to hover around $50 a barrel. And you can see that the world economy is showing, the global economy, showing signs of weakness. Brent crude traded for less than $50 yesterday. That's right there. We've never produced 2.3 million barrels of crude a day. All of last year.
But then, that $2.3 million barrels per day is a projection based on the fact that there are projections that the modular refineries will be functioning at quite good capacity by the end of 2019. So possibly that could be achieved.
But wasn't that what we're told last year? The point I'm making is, they can boo and criticize Mr. President, and Mr. President can lay out a budget, but the truth of the matter is that nothing will change for Nigerians for 2019. In fact, it will get worse. And the reason I say that is clear. A, you have in that budget a projected budget deficit of over 2 trillion naira. Government is relying, we're going to rely heavily on borrowings. Okay, we know that we are virtually tapped out in borrowings at the moment. So they're going to borrow more. And by the way, you know that part of the real challenge of the private sector, particularly small and medium-sized businesses, is that government is crowding them out in local borrowing.
Yeah, just to clarify, the deficit in the budget is about 1.8.
Well, well, that's what they say. It's about 2 trillion.
How did you arrive at that figure?
Well, look at the budget they're talking about. Because now, listen to this. If price of crude oil is going to be like $50 a barrel, so there's a $10 per barrel deficit right there. The production of crude, even with the modular refineries you're talking about, assuming they come on stream, I think max for 2019, and with the Niger Delta staying quiet, will be about 2 million barrels. So your challenge right there. But let's even go further. We say we'll borrow more, then we're going to impose new taxes. And the new taxes you're talking about is like the corporate tax. But small and mid-sized businesses in Nigeria are in so much trouble, they're not able to sustain. More so when the overhead cost of running a business in Nigeria today is about 30% attributable to power supply. And there's no prospect of power supply in 2019. You can go further. We're talking about that. And now government says, oh, we're going to raise more revenue from import duties. That's what they said. That's part of the, close the gap strategy. Well, in all of this, you don't hear any discussions about what Nigeria, outside of crude oil, is going to produce to export abroad, to generate revenue, create wealth and prosperity, and let business boom so taxes are paid, income, corporate taxes.
What were you expecting to see in this budget? Because the budget is tagged the next level budget.
Yes.
You clearly have stated that it is not taking us to the next level.
Yes.
So what were you expecting to see in this budget that could possibly have impacted?
Well, I was expecting that this government and Nigerians will start to make the demands that many of us are making, particularly the All Progressives Alliance, that this government will start to tweak their strategy in the direction of fiscal restructuring. And you can start them in stages. Let me give you an example. I was looking for government in this budget to take a firm position that we need to reduce the cost of governance. We can do that right now and commit, like the All Progressives Alliance is saying we'll do, to minimum of 5% reduction in the cost of governance per year the next 4 years. What does that entail? Why is it that the average security vote of governors is about ₦1 billion a month? Have you thought about that? Why is it that we're spending so much money running the presidency and the National Assembly? Why can't we redistribute this wealth in a manner that gives Nigerians some cushion to survive? It's a dishonest approach. We can embark on cost of reduction in governance. That's one. I was looking for this budget to focus more on the geo-economic zones of Nigeria. They call them the economic zones. That's close. But what will North Central states as a zone do together for 2019? So rather than dissipating energy and throwing resources at projects that never get to complete, what could they do? Bring in funds together, driven by the federal government, to say, we will come in, support you with funds, we'll come in, support you with an enabling environment, such as guarantees to bring in foreign investors. Let's focus Northeast on what we can do best here, to empower the economy and create millions of jobs. We're looking for that.
What do you make of the strained relationship between the executive and the legislature? And going into next year, there will definitely be a ninth assembly, and whatever happens at the presidency.
Yes.
Well, we're trying to look at how the strained relationship can be repaired.
Well, and I say this with all due respect to our great Nigerians who are members of the National Assembly. At some point, we started to get, in fact, overly pampered. The many, many, many Ghana must go bags. I think the number of Ghana must go bags have been quite reduced under President Buhari, so you've got to give him credit for that. That's part of the tension, obviously. And the fact that is now, even in the business of constituency projects, that is subject of close monitoring, and the fact that there's really been an effort in checkmating corruption and corrupt practices. You give President Buhari credit for a lot of that. But having said that, though, why doesn't he take the proceeds of the fight against corruption out rather than domicile with CBN, accrue the funds, and start to invest in social safety net infrastructure, specialist hospitals, and quality schools and housing, so Nigerians can feel the impact of the fight against corruption. We can smell, feel, and touch what he's doing. And let me also say this. I think it is important that we all come to the realization that together, our diversity is our strength. And we can find the courage, because our fight, and particularly the All Progressive Grand Alliance, is against poverty. That's what's dividing this country. It's not tribe and religion and state of origin. It's poverty. And we can do something about it. We have what it takes to grow wealth.
Now, this is where we draw the curtains on this week's edition of The Gavel. If you have any views on any of the issues discussed, please email us on thegavel@channelstv.com. Thank you for staying with us, and have a happy New Year celebration.